Anti-Israel protesters mobbing the streets and jamming traffic from California to New York, disrupting businesses and the daily lives of Americans coast to coast.
Dozens have been arrested after these so-called activists blocked access to Chicago's International Airport, the 9th busiest airport in the world, and shutting down the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Liz Peek and the host of the Ben Ferguson Show and co-host of The Verdict with Ted Cruz, Ben Ferguson himself. Both of you, welcome. I got to tell you, as I've watched these protests today, I was wondering what happened to my country. Ben, where do these people come from? Because I don't recognize this, and I think so many Americans don't recognize what's happening on the streets of America.
I think it's shocking, and I want to be clear. I'm in favor of protests. I'm not in favor of shutting down roads and interstate commerce. And my big question is, when people are protesting this way and shutting down America, where's law enforcement? You saw what happened in Florida today. They made it very clear we're not putting up with this crap. And you're going to be arrested. You're going to be dragged off the street immediately. You can protest peacefully. I'm all in favor of protesting. But when you start shutting down and ruining people's lives and destroying where people need to go, I mean, you look at people at Chicago, for example, and they were saying there's many people, and you could hear them yelling on the videos that are posted online, I'm trying to get to a funeral. I have loved ones that are in the hospital. Please let us through. We've seen this when they shut down the M Bridge in Memphis. It's the only corridor to the trauma center. The level trauma center is number one. You had people that they say died because that bridge was shut down. They couldn't get across. You had people that had to be airlifted and go backwards on that bridge to then make it across and get to the Med in Memphis. That is the number one trauma center for Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas in that area. And they let them shut it down for hours on end. On top of that, law enforcement walked arm in arm with people out there. You saw in Chicago where law enforcement was just sitting there. They're doing nothing because they've been told basically to stand down. They've been told, let them do it, and as long as no one gets hurt, then somehow this is okay. It's unacceptable in America today. Should never happen, and this is a lack of leadership by liberals in these local communities who are letting them do it.
Speaking of a liberal elected congressman from California, somehow Ro Khanna saw a bridge and said this.
The reason I love America is we're one of the only countries in the world that allows for this kind of protest and is actually putting the protest on TV. Where else would you allow that? In China, in Russia, in other parts of the world? Absolutely not. So I'm proud of our First Amendment tradition, but I totally condemn their chants. Of course, in this country, we have a long tradition of protests and marches, most famously on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So you can't stop people from doing that, but they have the consequence of being arrested.
Well, Leo Terrell said that was offensive, and I, too, find that comparison to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, actually knowing the history of what happened on Bloody Sunday and the days after, offensive. But continue, Liz.
Well, look, I mean, Ro Khanna's doing exactly what Joe Biden is. He's trying to have it both ways. He doesn't want to offend his progressive constituents who have been indoctrinated with the idea that Israel is an oppressor nation. I must say I'm rather struck by the fact that these protests took place today after Iran had attacked Israel directly for the first time. There was some thought that maybe you would get a little bit of a halo effect with people saying, well, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like an appropriate thing to do. Israel really is under the gun here. They really are at risk. Iran actually really does want to eliminate Israel. So maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, Joe Biden's in the same position.
The why now is because Joe Biden says don't, and Iran does.
Yeah.
And then Joe Biden allegedly tells Israel, quote, take the win.
Yeah.
These protesters think they've got the upper hand and think they're winning. So they plan these protests today.
This goes back, if you listen, I always try to listen to who I describe as the enemy, the other side who cannot stand America. Michael Moore did his podcast, and I listened to part of it because he said, and he warned Joe Biden, if you stand with Israel right now, as Israel's under attack, you will lose this upcoming election because all of the people I know, the younger people in America, are going to hate you and they're not going to vote for you. So to be clear, when he goes and says to Israel, hey, you better not retaliate, take a win because what? You were protecting yourself, and don't do anything else that might make us hate you. It's about winning this upcoming election because under 30 Democratic voters, and I've said this before, the Democratic Party I genuinely believe is dead. They are Marxists and socialists and communists masquerading as Democrats. That is the under 35 voter in the Democratic Party. They're not Democrats. They're Marxists or socialists. They're Democrats. And believe them when they tell you, Michael Moore said it, you got to let Israel go. Let them go from the river to the sea, take your hand off of them, and you'll win an election. And that's exactly what this White House is doing.
I would add one other thing, which is this does not harbor well for the Chicago convention this summer. I think there's going to be like 1968, enormous protests. The fact that they had protests today in Chicago kind of guarantees that almost.
They're showing a little leg of what's coming for the convention.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
You guys, it is April 15th. We're not celebrating, but some are today. It's Happy Tax Day.